Right now, the potential strike on Iran has been canceled. What President Trump says is the reason.
And a very nice Sunday on the way. I'm tracking when our next rain chance could be coming up this week.
Plus, Madison's mayor calls for streets to reopen after the police-involved shooting. Good morning, and thanks for waking up with us this weekend. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm meteorologist Jason Carlson. It's Sunday, August 2nd.
And you're watching Weekend Mornings. Fun fact, today was the day the first U.S. Census began in 1790. And it's a much nicer of a day outside than we had yesterday morning.
Yeah, yesterday you were battling the rain, especially on the way in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was muddy, too, guys. It was muddy outside. So if you've got grass or mud there, I mean,
yeah.
Today, it's just better.
But today it's drying out. We got those clouds today. It might look gloomy, but off to our west in Platteville, there are some blue skies approaching, and those will filter on into the Madison area as we go throughout those afternoon time spans. So Queen Bee, Radio Cam in Platteville, a very nice day out there to start your Sunday. Looking at that visibility right now, there are a few pockets of fog, but not too much out there. One pocket in the Wisconsin River Valley, and a little bit of fog was there across the Wisconsin-Illinois border earlier on this morning, but it is starting to burn off, and we'll see that sun come out later on today. We'll see our highs in those upper 70s today, so a very comfortable Sunday to get out, enjoy whatever you got planned today. But as we look towards the rest of the week, Monday's going to be nice, but those rain chances tick up as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll track that rain chance, let you know how much we could get coming up soon.
All right, thank you, Jason. We'll be checking in. You're taking a live look now at the White House, where President Trump says he has agreed to cancel a pending attack on Iran, saying a rough framework for a peace deal has been reached. As CBS News correspondent Tina Kraus reports, allies in the region had cautioned the president against unleashing a new round of strikes.
Well, I think we just want to win.
President Trump said he's calling off planned U.S. strikes on Iran for now because a deal to end the conflict may be close. He says the agreement would reopen the Strait of Hormuz and end Iran's nuclear threat. In a Truth Social post Saturday night, he wrote, "I have agreed for the future benefit of the world and likewise the survival of a successful and prosperous Iran to cancel the attack, subject to being able to rapidly make a deal." The shift comes after multiple sources told CBS News the U.S. and Israel had been preparing what could have been one of the harshest bombing campaigns yet against Iran, targeting energy infrastructure with strikes possible as soon as this weekend. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman spoke with President Trump Saturday and cautioned him against unleashing more attacks. Trump later wrote on social media the U.S. was locked and loaded, but that Tehran and allies across the Middle East had asked him to hold off. Iran warned against any adventurous action by the U.S. this weekend, saying it would retaliate decisively.
We'll be hitting them. We'll be hitting them very hard.
President Trump has warned for weeks Iran must make a deal or face the consequences. He said Israel agrees with this latest move to hold back and is committed to trying to strike an agreement to end the war that's just entered its 6th month. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
The State Department has urged Americans across the Middle East to be alert and ready to leave should there be an escalation in the region. And in your morning consumer report, if you've ever used one of the bike paths around the city of Madison, you've probably seen or used an e-bike or e-scooter. The Greater Madison MPO is working to clear up the confusion so that people can ride safely. The big thing to know is if you get a device and it can go over 30 miles per hour, it may be classified as a motorcycle under state law. If your device goes over 30 miles per hour, it does have to be registered with the DMV. Ben Lyman from the MPO says there's a lack of consistency when it comes to regulations as for what's allowed and where.
If it doesn't have a throttle, if there's no button, or, and this is talking about bikes that also have pedals, if it doesn't have a throttle, you're going to be safe. Well, e-bikes don't go up to 45 miles an hour. That's a motorcycle. Even if it has pedals under state law, that's a motorcycle.
When it comes to identifying your e-bike, you want to ask yourself, does it have a throttle? What's the top speed? How much does it weigh? And what's the motor wattage? Those are all determining factors. Once you identify your transportation device, you can better understand the laws that apply to you. We've got more details, including a guide from the Greater Madison MPO, attached to the story at channel3000.com. And an unusually intense heat dome is bringing dangerous temperatures to parts of the western U.S. right now.
Dozens of record highs are likely likely to be set this weekend from California to Montana. Some areas will see triple-digit temperatures, including Las Vegas, and Phoenix has a forecasted high of 114 degrees.
The National Weather Service is warning of major or extreme heat risks across much of the region. Meanwhile, there's also an extremely critical fire danger in place for portions of Washington and Oregon.
Yeah, they've been really facing a heat dome similar to what we saw in parts of July, so they haven't had much rain. They've been hot and sunny for a long time, so that's what's fueling those fire dangers in Oregon, Washington, as well as that heat today.
All right, and we're not going to see any of that heat here, are we?
Yeah, no, we're going to be good for the next few days, but I wanted to take some of this time to reflect on that July heat we did see. So as we take a look at what we saw for July, we're well above average for much of the month. We ended up being 2.6 degrees above our average temperatures when you total up all the days across the entire month. The hottest days of that were this 90-degree stretch from the 13th to the 17th, where we saw 5 straight days of 90 degrees. We had a lot of, that was our alert week we saw here, as well as last Monday, where we saw 97 degrees for that high. And luckily, as we look at the next 7 days, we'll be right around our average of 81 with very comfortable temperatures as we look at low 80s and upper 70s for the rest of this week.
All right, thank you so much, Jason. I'm looking forward to some of those warmer temperatures.
Me too.
Still ahead on Weekend Mornings, we preview an exclusive for the Record interview, how the Madison mayor is calling for the closure of the encampment at the site of a police-involved shooting where 38-year-old Corey Ruiz was shot and killed, what she's asking of the city after the break. But before the break, here's a look at last night's winning numbers. We'll be right back on Weekend Mornings. Keep it here.
You're watching Weekend Mornings.
Welcome back. The encampment that's taken root at the site of the officer-involved shooting could cost the city hundreds of thousands of dollars. Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway says that in an exclusive TV interview with political reporter and For the Record host Ellie LaLiberte. As Ellie reports, the mayor does not have an exact price tag because the number continues to rise by the hour.
This is an active homicide investigation. Should there be charges filed? Should there be an arrest made?
Well, so that is something, again, for other levels of government to determine.
Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway sitting down with News 3 Now in an exclusive interview Friday. Last Wednesday, a Madison police officer shot and killed 38-year-old Corey Ruiz, who police say had a knife.
The Wisconsin Department of Justice is conducting an independent homicide investigation. I don't know what conclusion they will come to.
The decision to charge ultimately lies with the Dane County District Attorney. The DA released this statement Friday, quote, "I know this process will test many people's patience and that many people will not accept whatever decision I make. That is your right as a citizen of a free country." The shooting has sparked outcry, with residents taking to the streets and some just camping out. City salt trucks used at the street to form a barricade.
We don't want anybody to get hurt.
But the cost of ensuring everyone's safety could cost the city potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I don't know exact dollar figures, but we are carefully tracking. Most of the cost is in staff overtime.
The mayor adding this will likely force the city to amend the budget.
When you say you'd have to amend the budget to make room for this, what gives at that point?
Well, it depends on where we are in the year and what else is going on. I'm sorry, I know you want a simple answer to this, but the city budget is not a simple thing. It's quite complicated.
There have been disturbances at the encampment. Earlier this week, Madison police arrested a man at the site. As of Friday, he's facing charges for substantial battery, and disorderly conduct with a hate crime enhancer.
Should it be allowed to continue?
You know, I am really worried about safety at that intersection. I think it's important to honor the fact that people are hurting and grieving and angry and need a physical place to have a memorial. But I don't think the situation down there is safe right now.
So your answer is no, that this should not be allowed to continue?
I think the streets need to reopen.
This was a substantial 40-minute interview with the mayor. Not only did political reporter Ellie La Liberté touch on the encampment, but also the lack of body cameras in the police department, public trust, and next steps. You can catch the interview this morning at 10:30 on For the Record. And Jason has your first warn forecast this morning. He's got us ready with the 3 things we need to know.
Yes, Michelle Renee, we got those clouds will clear on out and will dry out as we go throughout the rest of today. It's a little gloomy now, but as we get towards that afternoon and evening, we will start to see the sun peek out. We'll have very seasonal temps for much of next week. And then Tuesday night into Wednesday is when we'll see that best storm chance on the horizon. So looking at that farmers market forecast, if you're heading out today, especially anywhere in Madison, it's going to be very nice. We got cloudy to start, a little bit gloomy, but as we get throughout the day, that sun will come on out and we'll see 77 and sunny at our 2 o'clock. Areas west will see that sun even earlier, and that's going to help them warm up even farther today. So La Crosse, Eau Claire, 84 and 85 respectively. So very warm. And then as you go off to the south and east, we'll see upper 70s. So still a nice day, but not quite as summery as we'll see out in areas of western Wisconsin. As we go towards tonight, we'll see 50s for that overnight low, so a very nice evening to open up those windows, maybe get some fresh air in the house. And then on Monday, a little bit warmer, 80 here in Madison, 80 down in Platteville, and 86 up in Eau Claire for that Monday temperature. As we look at futurecast, here's that high pressure system that's bringing us our nice weather for today, especially once those clouds clear out, and tomorrow as well. But as we get towards Tuesday, we'll start to see this low pressure system bring a cold front through our region. Right now, the timing's looking like Tuesday night into some of Wednesday. We'll see some rain sticking around for southern Wisconsin. Looks like that clears out for Thursday, but we may see more storm chances as we go towards Friday and Saturday into the weekend. Taking a look at our highs for the rest of the week, we're going to be right around normal. So a very comfortable week ahead temperature-wise. No heat in our future. Looking at that 10-day in La Crosse, we got sunny skies for your Sunday and Monday, but then that rain chance shows up for Tuesday, and your guys are going to be a little bit cooler for your Wednesday before having a pretty nice weekend with temperatures warming up into those mid-80s. Here in Madison, we got that nice day. Once those clouds clear out, I know it's gloomy now, but that sun will come out later. That nice 50-degree low, so a great day to open up those windows. And then looking towards our next rain chance coming up for Tuesday night into Wednesday, as well as some storm chances coming our way for next weekend with temperatures staying in those lower 80s for much of next week.
All right, thank you, Jason. Now, we often think of explosive power as something only athletes need, but it's actually an important part of how we move every day. Our Kyrian Lee joins us for this morning's health conversation, discussing explosive power with Dr. Rupa Shah.
Training those fast twitch muscle fibers can help with balance, reaction time, and staying strong as we age. Joining me now is Dr. Rupa Shah, wellness coach and SSM Health family medicine physician, to explain why explosive movements belong in everyone's fitness routine. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So let's start simple. What exactly is explosive power?
So explosive power is how much force you can generate rapidly. So it's a combination of strength and speed. And this is really important for all of our everyday activities. Even just things like getting up from a chair, going up steps, catching ourselves if we're gonna fall. So people think like, oh, this is only for athletes. No, this is for everyday people, even like you and me.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Important for everyone. So why is this type of training so important, especially as we get older?
After the age of 40, we actually lose about 1 to 2% of those fast twitch muscle fibers every year. And again, those fast twitch muscle fibers are really responsible for that power, quick, explosive movements that we used to have when we were younger. And again, this helps us with all of those everyday activities. It helps us be efficient when we're moving. It helps us if we're gonna fall. It helps keep us safe. So again, it's really important that we try to preserve as much of that muscle fiber that we can.
Yes, so let's talk about how to actually do this. Can you show us a simple starting point? Yeah. So what can we do?
Yeah, so really simple. I would say even just like how we're sitting right here, right? So we could just kind of train ourselves to kind of get up quickly, right? This is a really good starting point. So, normally you'd get up like this, right?
Yeah.
Right? But what we can do is you can do kind of a series of really quick, explosive movements.
Okay.
There you go. You got it. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then the faster, and you can just see the faster you can get. And again, when you do this, you're firing these big quad muscles, which is really helpful.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Another one we could do is we could stand up and you could just do some quick hops, right? So just something like this. Even this is training those muscles.
Yes.
Right? And then if you want to take it one step further, you could do some jump squats. This would be a little bit more advanced, but you could just kind of bend down, right? So just again, quick up. Yep, there you go. Oh, look at you. You're doing good. Yeah.
I love a good
right?
jump.
So again, training those quad muscles. You could even do, we don't have a wall here to demo, but you could do push-ups against a wall, right, to start. That's also training kind of upper body muscles. So there's a lot of different things we could do to incorporate that into our everyday lives.
Perfect. So how's this different from traditional strength training?
So traditional strength training is more about using progressive overload, and the goal is to train with heavier and heavier weights. With power training, really we're using lighter resistance, but we're trying to just make those movements really efficient.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And generate power. So it's a little bit different, but both have a role and both are important.
Okay. So you can get started today.
Yeah, really, you can see it didn't take much. You don't need any equipment. It's very easy. You can do this when you're watching TV during a commercial break, right? It's really easy to fit into your everyday life.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Dr. Shaw, before we go, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Wellness with Dr. Shaw.
Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks, ladies. Now to your morning motivation from Dennis Waitley. Happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, earned, worn, or consumed. Happiness is the spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude. Still ahead, we're talking about how smartphones might just be phasing out for younger generations. And coming up in the next half hour, the free pop-up healthcare accessible to you right now. You won't want to miss what's next. We'll be right back.
You're watching Weekend Mornings.
Welcome back. Gen Z grew up glued to smartphones, but a growing number are choosing to disconnect. Maya Blackstone explains the growing trend of using dumb phones.
The second that my iPhone was gone, it was just like heaven on earth.
Kendall Schroy traded her smartphone for a flip phone through Dumbco, a startup that sells flip phones with practical apps like Uber and Spotify, but no social media.
Young people, because we grew up on these platforms, it's very hard for us to imagine a life where we're not addicted to it, because that has been the norm our entire existence.
And the research backs that up. Pediatrician Jason Nagata studies social media's impact.
Features of the design can lead to symptoms similar to substance-related addictions, which can include impaired control, withdrawal, tolerance, and relapse.
Schroy says she spent years trying to quit her smartphone.
I needed that extreme measure, like to physically not be able to access social media in order to realize that I actually preferred life without it.
Schroy showed me how the dumb phone works, and I gave it a spin for a weekend. I needed to ask a stranger for directions twice, and by Sunday, I felt bored.
Schroy says life is harder without a smartphone, and she uses a notebook to write directions and jot down her thoughts.
If you feel like you want to change your relationship with technology, you can. It really opens up your mind.
Dr. Nagata says research also points to tangible benefits.
In the long term, many do notice improvement in sleep, better concentration, less overall stress.
For those not ready to quit cold turkey, Dr. Nagata recommends starting small. Put your smartphone in another room at night and plan phone-free activities. Maya Blackstone, CBS News, New York.
And if you're looking to get off that phone today, we got fantastic weather for getting outside. We got 78 and sunny at 3 p.m. It's a little gloomy now with those clouds, but that sun will come out later on today and we'll be left with a very nice afternoon. What else was nice was how much rain we saw yesterday. Almost 3 inches down in Janesville, areas southeast of Madison. There are pockets of 4 inches reported. So very beneficial rainfall over yesterday and the day before. And we did see some rain off towards La Crosse and Eau Claire, but that's more towards about ½ an inch to an inch. So with our drought, 92% of us were dry as of Thursday. That was the day before we saw all that rainfall. So parts of southern Wisconsin will see this drought improve, maybe not quite go away as this built up over the entire month of July. And then areas off towards Eau Claire may see that drought continue to develop as they did not see those large amounts of rain like we did. But we do have more good news on the drought. We have more rainfall in the forecast. I'll have more on those chances coming up for Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, thanks, Jason. Still ahead on Weekend Mornings, an important lane closure that could affect your commute. We'll tell you where. Plus, we share this week's playlist pick. You've all been doing a great job, so keep on sending those songs in. My email's on your screen. And join us on Weekend Mornings to hear your song. Keep it here. We'll be right back after the break. Right now, a pop-up clinic is providing free medical care when and where you can participate.
And that rain from yesterday is gone. We're drying up. I'll let you know how nice it gets for your day on Sunday.
Plus, a look at one of Wisconsin's safest places to live. That's all coming up on Weekend Mornings. Good morning, and thanks for waking up with us. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm meteorologist Jason Carlson. It's Sunday, August 2nd.
And you are watching Weekend Mornings. The fun fact of the day is today was the first day the U.S. Census began in 1790.
That's impressive stuff. How many people did they have to count back then?
You know what? I saw the number. It started with the 3, and there were several digits following it, but I did not write it down, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, hopefully it wasn't too hard as they didn't have all of our electronics back then.
Right, and they were doing a lot of walking, but like you said earlier, it's a great day to walk outside.
Yeah, it's a great day to get outside. It looks gloomy right now, but as we look off towards our west, Platteville, you guys are already seeing those blue skies out there on our Queen Bee radio cam. We got that wind out of the north at 8 miles an hour. That's going to keep it very cool today temperature-wise. And we did have some fog earlier this morning, but it looks like that fog has gone and improved. We don't have that fog out in the Wisconsin River Valley anymore, so great visibility as you step outside, and those clouds will start to burn off just like that fog did. So starting cloudy, we'll be in those 60s. We'll quickly climb into those lower 70s today as that sun comes out this afternoon. So a great day to get outside after we saw that rain yesterday, which we needed, but not great getting outside weather. And looking at our rain chances, we do have some more chances of rain. We're going to have a very nice Monday, but as we look towards Tuesday, especially Tuesday night, a cold front sweeps through, so we could see storms and rain coming in for Tuesday and Wednesday, as well as going into our weekend. I'll have more on the timing for Tuesday's storm chance coming up soon.
All right, Jason, thank you. We begin this morning with a silver alert for Douglas Dunning, a 78-year-old male missing and believed to have dementia or some other cognitive impairment. He went missing from his residence after leaving for a walk. Standing at 5 feet 8 inches, he weighs around 160 pounds. He was last seen wearing a long-sleeve burgundy polo, gray slacks, and white Nike tennis shoes. If you have any information regarding his whereabouts, please contact the City of Brookfield Police Department. That number's on your screen now. It's 262-787-3702. And a semi-truck hauling alcoholic seltzer pellets from La Crosse to Kentucky was destroyed this weekend in a fire on I-90. The Madison Fire Department says a motorist flagged down the driver to report a problem at the rear of the trailer. The driver stopped to investigate and found smoke and sparks coming from the passenger side wheels. The fire spread too quickly and it was too quickly to be put out with a fire extinguisher, causing the driver to call 911. When the fire department did arrive, they found the tractor trailer fully engulfed. They were able to get it under control. The tractor, trailer, and cargo were total losses, but no injuries were reported. This weekend, a free pop-up clinic is helping hundreds of people get the medical care they might otherwise go without. It's happening right now, and our Kayla Dembeck shows us how the clinic is changing lives one patient at a time.
Remote Area Medical wrapped up its first day of its 2-day clinic at Verona Area High School, providing free medical, dental, and vision care to anyone who needs it.
Everybody, especially here in Verona, has been incredibly grateful for the opportunity to just be seen and heard by a provider.
Patients don't need insurance, identification, or proof of income, and all services are offered on a first-come, first-served basis. Organizers say the goal is simple: remove the financial barriers that keep people from getting routine care.
We had a gentleman who had never seen a dentist in his entire life. He was in his early 30s and came in today just hoping that maybe he could get to see a dentist for his concerns. And he left with the biggest smile on his face, just thanking us for being able to smile again.
From dental cleanings and fillings to eye exams and prescription glasses, organizers say every patient who walks through the door leaves with something that can make a lasting difference.
Getting kiddos to see for the first time, putting on a pair of glasses and saying, oh my gosh, I can read my textbook when I go home. It's truly, every single moment matters. And it's all such a life-changing experience for each and every patient that walks through those doors.
And it's not just the patients whose lives are impacted. The clinic relies on volunteers who donate their time, many traveling from neighboring states, to provide care free of charge.
It's always an outpouring of just like love, support, and a thing that I always talk about is just like the humanity of it all. Like these people are coming out of their homes and dedicating their time, like, and doing this completely for free, just out of the kindness of their heart. So it's an incredible thing to watch.
The clinic is continuing this morning at Verona Area High School with doors open right now. Care is provided on a first-come, first-served basis, and once again, all services are free. No insurance, ID, or proof of residency is required. Now to a live look at the White House, where President Trump says he will cancel an attack on Iran. That was in a Truth Social post last night. Trump indicated a rough framework of a deal is now reached, saying, quote, "Based on this request, I have agreed for the future benefit of the world and likewise the survival of a successful and prosperous Iran to cancel the attack, subject to being able to rapidly make a deal." Coming up on Monday, nighttime lane closures on Wisconsin Dells Parkway will begin. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation says the parkway will have a single lane closure between State Highway 13 and East Adams Street on Mondays through Wednesdays. That's between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. The closures will last through September 8th. That'll help WISC-TV gear up for a large construction project set to begin in September. That one will last until spring 2029. And gas prices are continuing to rise this morning. An average gallon of gas in Wisconsin is up to $3.97. Nationwide, that's $4.10. It's 7:33. Still ahead, Forward Madison is on fire. We take you to the field in your weekend morning sports. But first, here's a look outside.
I'm tracking some very nice weather for your Sunday, as well as a rain chance coming our way for Tuesday night and Wednesday.
You're watching Weekend Mornings.
And welcome back. Here are those 3 things you need to know for that forecast as you step outside there. We're going to be drying out today. We saw that rain yesterday, and it's going to dry out as we go through the rest of the day. That sun's going to come on out. We got seasonal temps going into next week. We got temperatures up in those 80s, but they're staying in those lower 80s, so very comfortable. Then we have a storm chance rolling in for Tuesday night. Looking at Oh, looks like the graphics messed up. I'll be back in 1 second. Let me flick back to where we should be in those graphics. Here's those rainfall totals from last night. We saw 1 inch to about ½ an inch up in Eau Claire, so some modest rainfall for you folks out there. But here's where we saw the most rainfall. Madison and areas south and east towards Janesville saw 2 to 4 inches for many of us, so very welcome, very needed rainfall. That'll hopefully help that drought we saw that was starting to develop towards the end of July. And good news, it's going to dry out today. It's starting out cloudy, but as we go towards 12 and noon, we're going to see those clouds clear on out. We'll see some sun, and that'll help us dry out, especially if you're off to the Monroe Street Farmers Market today. It'll be a great day to be out there. Looking at those temperatures across the region, we're going to be in those lower 70s for southeastern parts, and the farther north, the farther west you go, the warmer we get. 84 there in La Crosse, as you guys will see more sun than us in the eastern parts of the region. Tonight, lows drop into those 50s across the board, so a good night to open up those windows. And then Monday, it gets a little bit warmer, 86 up in Eau Claire, 81 in Prairie du Chien, and 80 here in Madison. So very comfortable temperatures coming our way for the next few days. And that's thanks to this high pressure system. He's going to keep us clear and sunny over the next few days, but as we go towards Tuesday, that moves on out, and we'll see a cold front sweep on in from the west as we go into Tuesday night, and that's going to bring us our storm chance as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday as well. Taking a peek at those high temperatures, well in those lower 80s and even a 78 on Wednesday. So a little bit on the cooler side, just below that average temp of 82 for this time of year. For that 10-day, we got 84 degrees, 2 very nice days coming your way in La Crosse for Sunday and Monday before that rain chance with that cold front on Tuesday. And then here in Madison, we got those nice days coming up. Most of Tuesday is going to be nice, and then we'll see that rain chance come in those evening hours, continuing into Wednesday to looking clear for Thursday and Friday, and then some rain chances as we go towards Saturday and Sunday. And now I'm kicking it to Nash with your weekend morning sports.
And now, Weekend Morning Sports, brought to you by TDS.
Heading into August, Forward Madison remained one of the hottest teams in the USL 1. Having gone 8 straight games without a loss, the Flamingos have climbed all the way to 4th place in the league's standings while also not surrendering a match all season long at Stevens Field. And being at home has been the Mingo's bread and butter. Club manager Matt Glazer says the success has been a combination of different things, but a main point he made was how important the fans have been to this historic run.
We were on the road for probably the first 3 months of the season with the stadium getting renovated, so to be back home in front of our fans is obviously a huge thing for us. I think everyone's been excited to play at home in front of our fans, so that's been a big one. And then, look, we've just been firing on all cylinders. You know, we've been scoring a lot of goals. I think we scored like 24 goals at home in this run, which is like unprecedented for us at Forward Madison. So for the fan to come out and watch one of our games, I think it's an exciting game to watch.
And out at Stevens last night is where Forward Madison was looking to stay red hot in Madtown. The Flamingos took on the Westchester Soccer Club, and about a half hour through this one is when we would get our first tally coming from the left foot of Akeem Karamoko, giving Madison the lead. And roughly close to full time of this one, the Mingos would double their score and hold on to the W once again. Forward win 2-0 and extend that unbeaten streak to 1 game shy of double digits. And switching to a different football, in 2025, the Green Bay Packers had the 13th most takeaways in the NFL with 14, which on paper obviously isn't bad by any means, but when you compare it to 2024, where they had more than double that number at 31, you have to wonder what changed. And it's hard to point out what that might have been. Heading into 2026, head coach Matt LaFleur had a big emphasis on turning the ball over, and with a new defensive coordinator, LaFleur and Jonathan Gannon will continue to perfect that recipe to put the ball back in the offense's hand while not being too vulnerable on defense.
In order to get the ball back at times, you might have to be a little bit more aggressive defensively. I think when you look at some of the teams that are able to take the ball away, you see that. So, but you know, there's a lot of variables that go into being able to get the ball away. I think that's one of the secret sauces that everybody's trying to figure out. How do you get the ball back? Certainly, it's been a point of emphasis.
Finally, we're going to switch to the Diamond, where yesterday was the final regular season game of the season, I should say, for the Madison Nightmares as they prepare for the postseason. But the story of the night was Wisconsin Badger Hillary Blomberg, who set a Northwoods League softball record, hitting here her 20th home run of the season, 9 more than she had hit just last year, which at the time was the league's best. But she crushes her own title by nearly double, while the Nightmares, they crushed the Steam last night, winning 15-1 from the Duck Pond. And that is all this morning in sports. Have a terrific Sunday.
Thanks, Nash. In my weekend morning consumer report, new research shows tornadoes, hail, and powerful winds linked to climate change now pose a bigger threat to homeowners than floods, hurricanes, and other forms of extreme weather. Climate risk modeling firm First Street finds that in 2025, insurance payouts from severe convective storms, surpassed those resulting from cyclones, making them the costliest insured natural disasters in the world. Global insurance payouts triggered by intense convective storms over the last 25 years total $794 billion, and that's more than flooding, earthquakes, and drought losses combined. 1/3 of those 2025 severe convective storms hailed from the U.S., and of those, $68 billion of insured and uninsured economic losses were within the U.S. SCSs are generally covered by homeowners insurance, so most Americans with a mortgage are insured against the risks. And if you are someone affected by April's storm damage, recovery centers are set up right now throughout Wisconsin. They're available to eligible homeowners, renters, displaced people, and businesses. That's in declared counties affected during the April 13th to 23rd disaster period. The Small Business Administration and FEMA are offering in-person disaster assistance at multiple locations, including Rock County. FEMA says anyone eligible should submit an application. FEMA grants do not have to be repaid and do not affect any other federal benefits that you may already be getting. When it comes to the long-term recovery assistance, the SBA offers federal disaster loans and loans that businesses can use to cover working needs or other necessary operating expenses. SBA loans have no payments or interest for the first year, with repayment terms of up to 30 years. Now, after an application is submitted, it's important that you answer the call. A FEMA inspector will reach out to schedule a home walkthrough.
They're going to give you their badge number. They're going to leave you a voicemail
how to reach back out to them in particular to schedule that time to visit with you and do that walkthrough in your home. We hope that right now our timeline is about 10 to 15 business days in order to get those recovery funds in your hands, but the inspection needs to be completed first.
You can get help with the application at a recovery center near you. The deadline to submit your application for FEMA relief is August 31st. SBA applications will remain open until March 2027. And I've got more details, including a link for the applications, what those interest rates look like, as well as more recovery center locations and their hours of operation. That's all attached to this story. You can find it at channel3000.com. And up next on Weekend Mornings, News 8 Now's Seth Padilla takes us to one of Wisconsin's safest places to live. And later, we check in on your weekend forecast. Stick around. First, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, let us know so we can share their picture and wish them a happy birthday on TV. We'll be right back on Weekend Mornings. Keep it here.
You're watching Weekend Mornings.
Welcome back. Around Wisconsin, Holmen is voted the top 10 safest places to live in Wisconsin. News 8 Now's Seth Padilla takes us to the village to see for ourselves.
Today, the community of Holmen is feeling proud. According to SafeWise's 2026 Safest Cities in America report, Holmen has been ranked the number 10 safest place to live in Wisconsin. The ranking is based on the latest crime data from the FBI, with the village of Holmen reporting significantly less crimes than other communities. Holmen reports 0.5 violent crimes and 4.7 property crimes per 1,000 residents. The police department of the village says it's not just their work that made this happen, but a whole community effort.
A proud moment, in that the work that they do. I'm not going to say me, I'm going to say all those officers out on the road that are working midnights and seconds, and it takes more than just us to do that. So you got to give kudos and thanks to all the village residents.
And for the families who live here, knowing their kids are in a safe environment is a weight lifted off their shoulders.
Holmen really brings a sense of community where you feel like you're able to walk on Main Street, walk into a store, and they know you by name. It just brings a sense of peace by living here, and it makes us feel like very welcomed and trusting.
And for those that move to the village from bigger cities, it is a welcome change for kids to be able to play safely.
Because I've lived in big cities all my life, and been in neighborhoods where that was not the case. So it's a nice reward late in life.
And the police chief tells me he hopes this rating encourages more people to move here, whether that's families or businesses. Being ranked top 10 by this ranking is a big difference from other places in the area. According to this same list, with 111 cities listed, La Crosse ranks at 108th and Eau Claire is at 87. Reporting in Holmen, Seth Padilla, News 8 Now.
Seth, thank you. And time for an update on your weather. I've got meteorologist Jason Carlson out here. Now, you've got a fun fact to share.
Yeah, I've got some good news. Our average temperatures are actually starting to go down. Our average dropped from 82 to 81, and we'll really feel that as we go towards our forecast this
1
week.
degree. Are we going to feel it?
This week we will. We'll probably still see some more heat as we go through the rest of August. But
okay.
If we're taking a peek now at those forecast highs for today, we will feel that little decrease in those average highs. It's going to be very comfortable. We're going to be in those 70s across southeastern Wisconsin and up towards Eau Claire, La Crosse. You guys are a little bit warmer in those low to mid 80s today. And that's a big difference from our July, where we were at 2.6 degrees above normal, including a stretch of a week straight of 90-degree weather, and our hottest temp of the year, 97 degrees coming on last Monday. So good news, those average temps are starting to go down, and we're going to be right around that average high of 81 for much of this week, as we'll see comfortable temperatures return, and I'll be enjoying those nice temperatures. And here's what those numbers will be. 83 for your Tuesday when we have a storm chance and a cool front kick down our temperatures a little bit for Wednesday. But as we go towards next week, we'll get slightly above average for the weekend, and we'll see temps in those low to mid 80s.
All right, Jason, thank you. And coming up on For the Record, Ellie LaLiberte and political reporter sits down with an exclusive interview with Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway. There's more than a week after Madison police officers shot and killed a man. Then later, the shakeup in the race for governor as the Democratic primary field narrows to 4, plus the momentum of the frontrunner. Can any other Democrats catch up? That's all ahead this morning on For the Record at 10:30. You're watching Weekend Mornings. We'll be right back.
You're watching Weekend Mornings.
Turn the lights down low and kiss me in the dark. 'Cause when you're touching me.
You're listening to Sparks by Hillary Duff. Nissa chose this song as Hillary is currently touring, and we've got several viewers who I know got to see her live. So be sure to send us a song. And we are taking a look back at today in history.
Today in 2018, TikTok arrived in the United States. It merged with the app Musical.ly and only took a few months to get more monthly downloads than Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
Now, you might have seen some of our TikToks on social media. They're on your screen now. They're encouraging folks to tune into the show. So feel free to follow Jason. His ad is on the bottom of your screen. And we just really like to have fun, share our personality.
Yeah, you really get to add a little bit more on TikTok, social media than you can here in the studio. You can have a little bit more fun. We're also on Instagram and Facebook as well if you want to find us there. Now for a final look at that 10-day forecast. Those clouds will clear on out. We'll see the sun later on. Nice day on Monday, but then as we go into Tuesday evening and into Wednesday, we see those storm chances start to rise.
And your morning motivation for today is from Dennis Waitley. Happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, earned, worn, or consumed. Happiness is the spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude. Thanks for watching Weekend Mornings.
Coming up next is CBS Sunday Morning, followed by Face the Nation.
And at 10:30, join political reporter Ellie LaLiberte with the exclusive interview with Madison's mayor on For the Record.
Our next newscast is coming up at 5:30, and you can find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+.
Have a great weekend.